Hey everybody, Prowl here, and I wanted to bring you today a video about a huge buff to a hero that has long been at the bottom of most tier lists in upper level play, and that is Iron Man. He had some changes that occurred yesterday that really make him playable in way more different ways. He does a lot more damage now, and he's going to be a lot more effective, not only in lower tier play, but in higher tier, higher rank play as well. So I'm going to go over that with you here today. This isn't going to be a full Iron Man guide video, although if you want to see one of those, let me know. I really just want to cover today the specifics about how the primary attack works, what the changes are, and then how those changes are going to change and affect gameplay of Iron Man so you can take these changes right now, hop into lobbies, and start owning people at any rank. And if you enjoy videos like this and you want to show me and that YouTube algorithm, all you got to do is click that like button and click the subscribe button down below, and it'll help make sure that you are notified whenever a new video, a new guide video, or update video comes out. Let's go ahead and hop into showing you guys how Iron Man can own. So first, let's start with the patch notes. This came out yesterday. Well, the patch hit yesterday. The notes came out like 1 or 2 days before it. We're not going to talk about anything else except what happened to Iron Man. So basically it says they're balancing his mid-range offensive capabilities. I would argue long range as well. They're doing some decreases to direct hit damage to repulsor blast, which is his primary fire, and some increases to the spell field damage. Basically what that's going to mean, and I'm going to show you here in a moment, is while it sounds like, oh, maybe it's a nerf if you don't know how the primary fire works, it's actually a really big buff. Repulsor blast is his primary fire. It's that guy right there. And it does 2 types of damage. It does direct damage and spell field damage. Now, direct damage, in terms of how it calculates it, is basically how much damage does it do when it directly hits something. And then spell field damage is how much damage does it do in the entire radius that the blast affects. So if you directly hit something, it does the direct damage and the spell field damage together. The sphere that appears around the blast, that's the spell field. So wherever you directly hit, that does damage, and then the spell field does damage. So if I directly hit this, that's doing spell field damage and direct damage. Whereas if I hit, like, say, right at his feet, that's just the spell field. Now, the primary attack is a 3-hit combo. Hits 1 and 2 do the same thing. Hit 3 does more damage. So hit 1 is right hand, hit 2 is left hand, hit 3 is both hands together. Those do different damage amounts. I'm going to show you those here in just a second. And then finally, you do have 2 other ways that you affect the damage of the primary attack. You can go into overdrive, and then every attack is the same. It's just left, right, left, right. You also see the dome is a lot bigger. It's 5 meters instead of 3 meters. And then lastly, you do have the team up ability with the Hulk. So if I click Iron Man here, you see I get Bruce Banner there. Now I have the Gamma overdrive as well. So it doesn't change your damage in any way, shape, or form when you're not in overdrive form. But once you hit the overdrive button, now you do even more damage, both with your repulsor and with your unibeam. We're not going to talk about the unibeam, but I just wanted you to know that having Hulk on your team does increase damage to both. So next, let's show you real quick what the actual changes were and what that means for Iron Man. And then I ran some games yesterday just to test this out and have some footage to show you guys of how this changes the way that you play with Iron Man and makes him much more lethal. So I'm not going to talk about every single data point on this sheet. I'm just going to tell you the things that matter. And I just want you to understand the sheet. You have the before column. This is how much damage he used to do. Shot 1 and 2, shot 3, overdrive, and gamma. How much direct hit damage was done. How much spell field damage was done. What the combined damage was. Same thing for after the patch. And then I calculated the changes for you. Green meaning it went up, red meaning it went down. And then also I've calculated damage per second for you so you can really know how effective it is. So basically what has changed was the direct hit damage on shot 1 and 2 went down by 15. Shot 3 direct hit went down by 15, and overdrive direct hit went down by 5. Gamma saw no changes anywhere from this update. We'll talk about that at the end. So your direct hit damage went down, but shot 1 and 2, spell field damage went up by the same amount, meaning shot 1 and 2 net do the same amount of damage if you directly hit an enemy. 90 damage combined, because you add direct hit damage and spell field together. 55 plus 35 equals 90. Over here in the after column, 40 plus 50 also equals 90. All right. For shot 3, your combined damage went up because direct hit went down by 15, but spell went up by 20. And then in your overdrive, your direct hit damage went down by 5, but your spell damage went up by 10, meaning a combined of 5 damage increase while in overdrive. So what does this change and why is this important? If you couldn't tell there, you'll tell in my footage I show in a moment. The shots fired by Iron Man travel incredibly slow. It is really hard to directly hit a target that is not right in front of you. You can try to lead targets, but your odds are if you're mid to long range, you're not going to hit every shot. And if you're not going to hit every shot, what that would mean is you were pretty constantly not doing this combined damage amount. You were fairly frequently doing the spell damage amount. So now with the spell damage being higher, every time you do not directly hit an enemy, whether that be your intended target, you're shooting a healer in the back line, or an unintended target, you hit one enemy, but there's other enemies close to them and they also take damage. You're now doing more damage to the enemy that you miss or the enemies around the blast, generally speaking. So what this means for gameplay when you're playing Iron Man, and what I'm going to show you here is now it is very effective to use your primary fire. Just like other blast type attacks by other characters, like Loki's primary attack. I play a lot of Wanda, like her burst attack. A lot of times when you're shooting at an enemy, you probably want to aim right at their feet. You want to try to hit their feet. That way you do direct damage and you do more damage. But if you miss, you still want to catch them in the spell field. So a common tactic for players, especially with somebody like Iron Man, is you want to aim at their feet. So you're pretty much guaranteed to at least get some kind of damage from the attack. Now, important to note, Iron Man cannot critical hit, meaning it doesn't matter where on the body you hit a person, head or feet, it does the same damage. And also, Iron Man does not have any fall off damage due to range. It doesn't matter if you shoot somebody with the primary attack at like right in their face, or if you're back 100 meters. It does the same damage no matter your distance. It does the same damage no matter where on their body you hit. So now, because of that, and because of this spell field damage increase, significant spell field damage increase, it is now very effective for you to play at mid to far range when it warrants to do so, because you can still do good damage while still also being the case that the highest amount of damage you could do to a single target is to use the unibeam. So unibeam is still going to be the best way to kill targets that you specifically want to go in, get in close and guarantee a kill on. But now you're not forced with Iron Man to, I have to get close to an enemy, unibeam to do damage. That's not the case anymore. You can now also play Iron Man in a way that is mid to far range to do damage in between moments that are good chances or good opportunities for you to go in and unibeam them. Okay, so that's basically how it's going to work. Last thing I want to highlight here, I've calculated the actual damage per second for you so you would know. And this is just assuming direct hits. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. And who knows if you hit, don't hit. It's kind of hard to judge what your aim is. But let's say you directly hit your targets. Shot 1 and 2 will do that like 3-hit combo. If you land all 3 hits, does 61 damage per second. Overdrive, when you click I think it's shift, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I changed my buttons. Overdrive will give you the 80. Overdrive will give you 86 damage per second. That's a huge increase, a 25 damage increase. And then Gamma will give you only a 4 damage per second increase over Overdrive. So that leads me to my last comment. Gamma, they didn't change it. I don't know why they didn't change it. I don't know if they forgot about it or if it's something that's going to get removed with season 2 when they mix up the like hero team ups and they just decided, hey, we're just not going to mess with it. I don't know. But the end result of it is if you have Hulk on your team to give you the Gamma Overdrive, you want to unibeam that 100% of the time. It's still worth it to use it and fire it in if you can't get close enough to an enemy to use unibeam, but it doesn't get any benefit to your primary fire at all now. In fact, you'll see that Gamma Overdrive versus regular Overdrive only does +5 damage. And on top of that, the spell field damage on Gamma is actually lower. So if you do not directly hit the enemy with the primary fire attack, Gamma actually does less damage, not more. Okay, that's all the information. Let's hop into a couple games that I had when I tested this out yesterday. Now, the match I'm going to show you here is on my alt account. My alt account is in Diamond 3, so take that for whatever you want to. My primary is in GM, but I don't take a hero that I'm learning and trying to get good strategies formulated on into my main account right away. I play them a whole lot on an alt account first, and then I eventually move over. So this is a Diamond 3 lobby. I do think so far that this will translate up, but again, we'll see how that proves out as I get more playtime on Iron Man on this account first. But you can see here, I went 55 and 11. I specifically chose a match that I do not have Hulk on for the team up. So you can see how he's performing without the Hulk. This match, I did have a couple of short moments where I changed to Namor, and I accidentally clicked Spider-Man. I didn't actually play him. I actually accidentally clicked him once. I changed to Namor for the end of our first defensive round because their Spider-Man, they had a guy playing Spider-Man. He was destroying us early on, and I didn't know how to combat Spider-Man, although I have a good strategy for it now. I did change back to Iron Man even with the Spider-Man there, and I did fine after the fact. Okay, 55 kills, 11 deaths. I'm still working on ways to take less deaths on Iron Man than I currently am. And I do think we can bring those numbers down. And then secondly, you see 25 final hits, 36,000 total damage. I put out a lot of damage during the match. Okay, so let's hop in. We're not going to watch the whole replay here. I'm just going to show you key parts so you can understand the proper gameplay loop with Iron Man now. So the first thing you're going to see here is I'm going to constantly barrage them with my primary attack. Right now, I'm trying to aim down that Hawkeye. I'm strafing a lot so he can't pop me in the air. I'm also trying to stay back further away from him so he can't get that focus damage on me and easily one-shot me. And then you're going to see me a lot play from the ground rather than in the air. You got to remember that Iron Man is a prime target to get attacked while he is up in the air. So playing up in the air just because he can fly doesn't mean you have to. Play on the ground a lot with Iron Man as well. And I'm just throwing these blasts in because I don't feel comfortable enough getting all the way in here and using Unibeam because they have so much going on up here, especially the fact that they have that Hawkeye that can easily snag a one-shot on me with the charged bow shot. So I don't want to just go into that. We are getting dove by that Spider-Man. He is going to be a problem, especially early on. I do learn how to deal with him a little bit better later on. One thing you're going to see here, I've barely used my Unibeam at all. I've used it very little, and I've already built up my ult. So as you can see here, looks like they're about to push in. I am going to take damage here, and I'm going to quickly fly away, do some erratic movement because I don't want to get hit. I have my ult up already, even though I've barely used my Unibeam because I've been able to throw in those much higher damage amount primary fires, and I can easily sit here and ult into their healer ult and kill the cloak. And I don't know if I got one kill or a couple. Looks like I got just one. And then now with them not having the cloak, I can go in, I can Unibeam and get a few more kills. So right here, you're going to see a moment where I am targeting a Moon Knight at range. I had him weak, but he ended up getting some heals. I think he even touches that health pack. I can't remember. But you see right there, I landed a direct hit. Here, let's watch the whole sequence play out. I almost got him with my beam when he's close enough. Unfortunately, he slipped away with a sliver of health. He gets away. I beam him. So that's a primary fire. That's doing the same damage that would have already done before. Right here, I miss. I hit the ground right beside him and bring him down. He gets pulled up again. Direct hit, splash damage kill. So this type of kill likely wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that increased spell field damage, because now I'm doing more damage to him when I do not direct hit him. He could have possibly escaped, gotten more heals from the rocket and gotten away. And this could have stopped both me from killing him, and I'm pretty sure he has his ult up right now. So who knows how that could have changed this specific fight if he would have been able to ult into us while my team is going through the tunnel right there to the left. Now, one thing I'm noticing here, I'm going to critique my own gameplay, and this is part of me figuring out the best way to use Iron Man. You're going to see me try to kill this cloak right here. I'm going to play it back in slow motion for you. I have okay aim. I don't have God aim. So tracking a enemy that is literally in my face moving around somewhat erratically with this Unibeam, you see I have trouble with it. I'm not doing it. I would have been better off using the primary attack here. So you watch here, I'm putting down decent damage, but here's the problem, right? Even though the Unibeam does more damage to somebody, that's only if you're hitting them the whole time. You're gonna see here, there's lots of time that I am not actually hitting this cloak when I'm trying to track her down. And it makes my aim look even worse, the fact that I'm running this in such slow motion. I'll run it back for you guys in high speed, like regular speed here in a moment. But you see, I'm only landing a few hits. If I would have been using primary fire there the entire time, she probably would have died a heck of a lot faster, due to the fact that a direct hit would probably take about a third or more of her life, and even a miss would have been chipping her down like 50 or so health at a time. So I would have killed her a lot quicker would I have done that, rather than waiting to the end to use my primary attack. Here's, I think, 100% speed. So you see, I'm just trying to track her. She's moving around kind of quick. And then I'm eventually just like, okay, I'm just going to shoot and kill her. So that's something I should have done earlier on. Now, I'll just say, outside of that, I think I have a lot more I could do to improve as Iron Man on when to primary fire and when to beam. But you're going to see here, I'm just going to use the primary fire quite a bit for building up my ult. I got to ult a lot during this game, a lot more than I normally would be able to while playing Iron Man. And I was playing Iron Man before this update as well. Because the more damage you put out, the quicker you build up your ultimate, right? So you want to constantly be doing damage. And now, rather than having to force my way in to use the beam to do any kind of decent damage, now I can beam when it makes sense. And then when it doesn't make sense, I can start using the primary fire like that right there to get big chunks of damage in on people that get directly hit and do more of that splash damage at the same time. And then I thought I'd show you one or two more sequences here. This is a different map. That last map, I unibeamed a whole lot in it because it's just a much smaller, tighter map, so it's easier to get in with the beam. This map here, I do have the Hulk team up, as you'll see, but this is kind of my strategy, right? What I'm doing is I'm kind of staying back and doing a lot of poke damage, building up ult, even though here I do already have it. I'm actually attacking clones a lot here too, taking them out in this match. But the fact that you can build up ult so much faster allows you to use it a lot. And if you don't know one thing about Iron Man's ult, what you should know is that his ult can one-shot through most healer ults, at least the squishies. I don't remember how much damage it does, but it's all in one hit. So the squishies are going to die, and then tanks that don't have full health are going to die. Maybe even some of the lower health tanks will die too. I can't remember. But you see here, we actually had a double ult here. I just chuck my ult in, and I do it from the ground. You could play from the air or the ground more now as Iron Man with the repulsor blast. Again, I just want to repeat, don't always play from the air, play from the ground. It makes sense as well, especially for something like this where you have your ult that takes a long time to travel. It gives it much less time to react. I just literally got right in there and launched it in and got 2 kills. And then you're going to see in moments like this where you have enemies grouped up. There's so many of them right on top of each other. There's the Loki clones. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. Now's my chance to build up a lot of ult and get a lot of value, because every hit I do is going to do that larger amount of splash damage. So you see, I'm just chucking the primary fires in there, and look how fast my ult is building up by doing that. I just went up like 20%, 25% in this one sentence, and then I died. So anyways, I think you get the point. I'm gonna stop babbling for now. If you want to see an Iron Man guide of any sort, once I finish figuring him out in terms of strategy to really make him effective for you guys, let me know down in the comment section below. Click the like button if you enjoyed this informative video about Iron Man and his changes, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more great guides and update information that gives you real useful info about character hero changes that occur in the game. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.